Hello, hello, hello. Hooligan Soccer Podcast coming at you. Premier League edition. Thank goodness. With the Qooligan, myself, Gary Striker. We are back. Goddamn international breaks are out of the way until March. It is finally, this is the harvesting time of the season where it's just busy, busy, busy. Hello, Qooligan. How are you?
Good afternoon, Mr. Striker. I think it's afternoon for you. It's morning for me, but
it's still morning for me. But you know what? In this day and age, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Is it really?
11:30.
Oh, yeah,
11:30
right.
for me. Yeah,
you're right. Good. Yeah, that's a fair point. So, hello.
There we go.
Aside from the fact that we have a bit of an issue telling time.
I
don't really know how that happened, but no, it is good to be back. It is good to be back with the Premier League. It is good to be back in the old black and the old blue and red stripes with the eagle on top. Looking forward to a resounding win for my side on Saturday. But there's first a couple of mechanics that we need to take care of.
Let's get into it. Yeah. So, let's start off with, as always. So, yeah, Premier League is back. Obviously, now it's just getting thick and fast. We are going to be introducing the concept which you have coined, the Qooligan, but we'll be referring to it as the Crucible, which is this Christmas period, this holiday period as well, that's starting to come up to us. It's really sort of as we get into the month of December. So when we mention the Crucible, it is the fixture schedule, which becomes very condensed and packed from basically pretty much now up until basically this new year. As always, hooligan-soccer.com.
Go ahead and do the plugs, and then I'll give people a little bit more context on that, because you were supposed to do the plugs first, then the Crucible, so that I could talk about it. But as usual, you flipped it arse over tit, so there you go.
I like to keep it sort of just keep you on your toes as well, but also as well, you can tell rank amateur production quality here as well, evidently. So hooligan-soccer.com is where you can go and find all the writings, musings, insights, and sort of analytical breakdown on the beautiful game. So hooligan-soccer.com. But as always, please like, follow, subscribe for us. We've had some uptick in terms of consumption, which has been great. And so if you can follow us, it would mean a lot to us. And of course, you can catch up on newsletters and all those things over on the website. So yeah, Qooligan, you have a plug as well.
Normally this would be the time where we would insert an ad, and although we don't have anybody who's willing to yet give us money to speak to y'all's, we'll do it anyway. But we do have something that is really kind of exciting and fun. One of our authors and writers who's been with us a long time, James Passy, is a professional scout in England, and has been writing articles for us. And if you've been to the site, it's called Diary of a Scout. And he did 10 volumes in last season, and he has resurrected it again. It is back for a second season. We have our first renewal, Gary, which is very exciting. But more to the point, James Passy has actually published a book about his scouting, and it is called The Diary of a Scout Volume 1, and it is available on amazon.co.uk. I believe it might also be available on the Amazon American edition, but for now, go to the UK, support James, because he's an awesome, awesome guy. His scouting stuff is really insightful, and you can read about some of the up-and-coming players that he's got his eye on. So get a little jump ahead on all of your braggadocio with your friends.
Wonderful. No, we're big fans of James. His articles have always been really engaging. I've enjoyed them a lot as well. And now if he's on amazon.co.uk, I think the next step is to get onto the Kindle and then an audiobook. So go buy it, get it, bump it up the rankings of the charts and those kind of things.
I might be available, James. Just saying. Love to do me an audiobook
with that voice for radio that you have, right? Is that it? That radio
well, the
voice
only problem is I'm not English, so given the fact that he does talk exclusively about English soccer, maybe you might be a better choice on that one. So
we'll see how that goes. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, best of luck. Yeah, so Diary of a Scout, go and check it out on amazon.co.uk. Okay, all right. Without sort of skipping past that point too much, let's get into it. So thank goodness we are back. I've sort of had to take 20 minutes or so just to familiarize myself with last week's games.
And we have to kick off this whole week kicks off with your team. I mean, has there been a better weekend for you than Chelsea getting the prime mid-afternoon Saturday spot?
It's well, no,
Probably
for
not.
me early morning, but yeah, no, it kicks off a weekend of sport for me. Finally, last weekend was like barren of sport, all the sports that I was interested in. Formula One, Las Vegas this weekend is coming up. There is obviously the football. There is the MLS playoffs as well. That is back now that this international break has been
It's true.
passed as well, and also as well there's some golf coming up as
And
well.
don't forget, Liga MX playing starts as well.
Oh wow, shit, yeah, God, there
That
we
is
go. We're
also
back.
something that's coming on, right? So if
We're
you're,
back.
it is not quite the Liguilla, I believe it's called, but it is the bottom teams now go into a big ass scrum, and they decide who will survive from that in order to go into the actual Liga MX playoffs. So
Okay,
very exciting.
cool. Right, and then Champions League next week as well. So we're doing another episode as well for the Champions League as that comes out. So
Busy
yes,
time.
busy. All right, let's get into it. So yeah, first game of the weekend is Burnley against Chelsea.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty confident going into this one. I have to say, Chelsea are in third place, and honestly, I just the way they've been playing and the sort of the inconsistency and all the red cards that have been happening, third place feels. I don't feel like they've been playing like a third placed team, but yet there they are. Although admittedly it is a very, very tight league all the way down to down to like 12th or 13th place when there's only by the looks of it 5 points separating them all from what looks like sort of 13th place Everton up to Chelsea. So it is quite tight. But Chelsea in third place, looking good. Estevao scoring goals. I wonder if he starts for Chelsea, having sort of scored 5 goals in 5 games for Brazil. Last game week, Garnacho got sort of basically sort of a really sort of solid performance. So did Pedro Neto, and Cole Palmer is meant to be coming back as well. So this is sort of the dangerous sort of side, which is you get optimistic, you get excited, and then Chelsea just don't show up. They get a stupid red card in the 10 minutes and Burnley park the bus and win 1-0 and sort of do that. So I hope that's not the case.
Listen, that's certainly possible, right? You mentioned the Crucible. You gave us an intro on it, and this is the week where everything starts, right? Between now and the end of the year, Chelsea are looking at 9. They're looking at 9 fixtures, and 8 of those are in December proper.
8 games
right?
in
So
December.
this is and 5 of those are on the road. So this is a period of time where 6 are in the Premier League. So if you want to stay in your third place position, you need to get the points when you can. And when you play the smaller teams, you have to get the 3. So this is in many ways a must-win scenario for Chelsea, right? If they want to, it kicks them off in the right way, it gets them some momentum going into a very tough particular period of time. It is great that that there's some of their injured players like Palmer and various other folks, they're back. Why? Because rotation is key.
Yeah.
You have to be able to rotate players in, give some players rest while still maintaining your integrity and your momentum and earning your points. So, I actually think this is a really, really big and important match for Chelsea, and I think that they should win it. So good luck.
Yeah, need it. Yeah, you're right, and this is, as you say, the Crucible, as we've discussed, this is where you get found out. Injuries can also happen and sort of get backed up. Suspensions as well. This is the thing, and Chelsea, Maresca's going to have to manage these minutes because they've got Barcelona on Tuesday as well, which will also be an interesting lineup, which we will cover.
Which is not a must-win for them. I mean, you've got to look at that game, and while it is emotionally important, and while it is a big thing, and all the eyes will be on them, they do not have to win that game.
Yes, but you want to go into that. If you win, it just gives you that confidence in, hey, we've just beaten Burnley, then we smash Barcelona, and then you go into sort of rolling through them as well, right?
There are 6 other games that are coming in right after that are just as important.
If not more. You're right. Okay, so hopefully, I think Chelsea should be able to get through there, but there are surprises as always. Bournemouth against West Ham. You called this out, which is Bournemouth, who have been really strong in the beginning of the season and sort of looking great, have sort of been on a bit of a slide, losing the last 2 games. But then conversely, West Ham have also sort of been able to turn it around and sort of be able to pick up some points and win their last 2 games. So this is kind of a sort of two sort of intersecting sort of form guys coming up against each other.
That's the narrative.
Yeah.
That's the narrative. You have a team that was flying high that has suffered a dip. You had a team that was way down low that is suddenly rising, and boom, they meet each other. I mean, this is a great story in the sense that this match could determine the trajectories of both these teams for the next, Crucible period.
Mm-hmm.
A win here might, a win here, and especially for West Ham, suddenly gives them a massive boost. A win for Bournemouth suddenly goes, right, we're back, kid. We're back, boys.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cherries are back. Let's roll. And then for West Ham, you start asking the question of, oh crap, is it going to happen? Are we going to slide again? Are we going to suffer again? Yeah. It's I think this one has more relevance and meaning than I your typical neutral might look at this fixture and go, why would I bother? Well, there's a lot of reasons to bother.
Yeah.
And, so and not to mention the fact that Bournemouth, I think, are always so much fun to watch. They just play fantastic football, right?
Yeah.
Soccer.
They do.
Excuse me.
It is worth noticing that their last two games, their two losses, in their last game, they lost 4-0 to Villa, and Villa are on the ascent, and Villa have suddenly found that form and started kicking on. And then they lost 3-1 to City. So they conceded 7 goals in the last 2 games. So that obviously conceding is a problem. With Semenyo, as long as he's on form, you're always going to have a threat. But conceding 4 to Villa, that is a heavy loss, and they probably shouldn't have conceded as many.
So the question is whether or not these have just been anomalous results, or whether this is the sign of an indicative trend. Let me tell you this: if West Ham puts 2 or 3 in the net, Bournemouth have a problem.
Yeah.
Because that's now suddenly 3 games in a row where you've conceded a lot, and they were relatively disciplined in the back prior to that.
They were. The other concern I would have is, remember, as we go through the Crucible, then all of a sudden you get into the January transfer window, and everyone has their eye on Semenyo. Everyone has the eye on Semenyo. So he will be the subject of some aggressive bids, and it will take a lot of money. There's always a premium in the January transfer window, but for some teams, namely, I've heard some bizarre rumor Liverpool are sort of supposedly really aggressively pursuing him. Why? I don't know. I don't quite understand that one completely, but there are going to be other teams who will come and put big money in front of them. And then the question is, can Bournemouth?
That's a rumor for the clicks. Gary.
Yeah,
that's a
rumor for the clicks. Yes, there is. I think we have commented on that.
They cannot afford to spend, and if they need to spend, they need a defender. They need to defend.
Exactly. Yeah, clickbait. Anyway, let's not give it any more credence. Okay, so that's Bournemouth, West Ham. Brighton as well, who,
this one, I will be perfectly honest. If I was going to say that there was a meh game in this fixture, it's this one. Brighton sitting at what, 13th, Brentford at 14th.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, meh.
Yay.
Yeah.
I mean, no, it's like Brighton have a tendency to get a lot of draws. Brentford have a tendency to get a lot of losses. I mean, I don't want to discount the importance it's going to be for either side. But in the grand scheme of things, this fixture is just not
meh. Yeah,
it's a meh fixture. They're both at 16 points. And great, one of them won't be at the end of it, or maybe they both will be at 17.
With a draw. Exactly.
If I was ever going to say there was going to be a draw, this would be the match that was going to be a draw, right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
One fixture that would traditionally be a meh fixture, which is Fulham-Sunderland, but with Sunderland just outperforming every metric possible. Sunderland, all of a sudden, Sunderland sitting in 4th place. This is crazy.
Listen, Sunderland, in my opinion, is a must-watch game at all times, unless your team that you support happens to be playing at the same time, which in this particular instance it does. But yeah, you've got to keep your eye on the Black Cats.
You do.
Right?
And
you do.
Just looking at your research as well, you've broken down how many games each team has in the Crucible period, and actually Sunderland have the least amount of games up until the sort of Christmas break.
They have the kindest fixture in the Crucible. It is almost unfair.
Yeah, and so the difference is that
how easy they have.
Sunderland have 9 games, but Palace have 14 games in that period of time. Is that correct?
For the extended Crucible that goes all the way through the first week of the new year, yes. But in December, they only play 5.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's 2 different ways to look at the Crucible. There's the long version of it, and then there's just the December fixtures. And either way, Sunderland's sitting pretty. They have the kindest schedule of anybody, other than the fact that they have to be on the road a lot. Most of those games are on the road. So that I guess that's a challenge, but.
Well, there is the other factor as well, which is the other wonderful piece of research and due diligence that you did, is also the number of potential players who will be missing due to the African Cup of Nations, which starts in December as well. And they have
Sunderland will be disproportionately hit by that.
They have a potential 9 players that could be away and playing in AFCON up to now. I know we're still players and squads are still yet to be picked and determined, but they could, that is the only sort of risk that I see for Sunderland as well, that otherwise Crucible could be quite kind to them from a fixture perspective. That is for sure. Sunderland are definitely on the up, and they've been fantastic to watch. Another one I'm also going to keep an eye on as well, and this is the old Schadenfreude has come back to haunt me once again, which is Liverpool against Forest. Now,
yeah, right.
Liverpool have lost 7 in their last 10 games in all competitions, right? Losing 7 in 10 for the champions.
Yeah.
They lost their last one to Man City. It was to Man City that they played last game week, I believe. Yeah, they lost 3, and they got comprehensively
they were carved apart. I mean,
they were,
regardless of whether or not that offsides was an offsides, and in my opinion, it wasn't. Yeah, regardless of whether that goal had gone in, they were going to lose that game.
Beaten. They were beaten.
No. I don't think that was a decision that decided the game. I do think it turned some of the energy in the game, but I still think that Man City would have ultimately come ahead and beaten Liverpool on that day. They were the better team. They were the better team.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I don't think anyone can make the counter argument against it. So the question here is, then you've got Forest, who have finally got sort of a win. Sean Dyche got his first win in the league, which was good to see in the previous game week. So kind of Forest are on the up and probably thinking there's blood in the water here. We can get at Liverpool. I know Arne Slot will be reminding his team desperately that they need to sort of arrest this side. And again, if they continue into this crucible period with this bad run of form, I think we can go as far as to say Liverpool are probably not going to retain their Premier League as well. They just all of a sudden they have to win every single game from here on out, which is just very unrealistic to sort of expect. But Liverpool sitting in 8 below Manchester United. It's funny how a few game weeks sort of turn everything around, and Man U are up above them and Liverpool are down. But do you have any sense on this one? Do you think Liverpool were able to?
What I said earlier about Bournemouth and West Ham being, this sort of magic meeting point of 2 teams that are on different trajectories. This one is like that on steroids, right? With Liverpool on the massive free fall, and Nottingham Forest. Well, to be fair, no, one win does not a trajectory make. So no. I'm not even. So maybe my original statement is wrong. Maybe it's just a team that has been in the absolute crapper, coming up against a team that's still sitting at the lower end of the bowl. But will this game be important? Yeah, 100%. And seriously, Liverpool this is a must win for them.
They have to.
As a Liverpool fan, you've got to be thinking we got to. And really, you don't want them to just win. You want them to kind of put a statement down on Forest.
You're exactly right. Yeah. Like a 1-0 grinding it out win is not going to be it's not going to convince the players themselves that all of a sudden this is arresting that.
But you won't be happy about it. No, they gotta come in and and plus they're in Anfield. They have to stomp. They got to stomp on Forest.
You'd expect that. The interesting thing is, as well as like, really they need their stars to turn up and sort of show up, right? That's really what needs to happen. I mean, Ekitike is just, probably the best player at the moment there. He's looking really, really good. He's one player that's been standing out. Florian Wirtz, that sort of record signing, and Isak, they're 2. That's like, what, 300 million plus nearly $400 million worth of sort of, talent that they've recruited has just not shown up. They just haven't really done anything. Not yet, and not happening. And then, Szoboszlai is also sort of a positive for them. He's looking really good, but Salah has just not been. And I think maybe part of the strategy for buying all of these superstars up at the top was to take the onus off of Salah and not be dependent on him, which has happened. Although, again, he's going to go off to AFCON as well, so he's not going to be available in the December period for them as well. So they've got real problems. Both, they can score goals, but my God, they're letting them in. Hey, look at that, scored 18.
Their biggest problem is in the back. Their biggest problem is conceding, and until they solve that problem, they will continue to struggle. And whether they do it through a January transfer, and everybody thinks they're going to make a play for Mark Gahey, and I would not be surprised by it.
If you're Gahey, you maybe Liverpool's not such an attractive option anymore all of a sudden, right?
That's how Gahey feels about it is entirely on him, right? And if that's he may choose to not bail, right?
And maybe sticks around. Palace have been
anyway.
Doing
We got a lot of time to talk about the transfer window.
Yeah.
Let's focus on Crystal Palace.
Speaking of
about a must win. Talk about a must win. Jesus, they're going up against Wolverhampton, the most hapless side in the Premier League, and even though they have to travel up north to do it, anything less than a win is unacceptable.
Happy to do it, right? Happy. I was watching The Wolf of Wall Street the other night, and they were reminded that scene. I don't know if you've seen The Wolf of Wall Street, where he sits down when he's basically been caught, and the prosecutors go up to him and say, "This is a Grenada. We cannot fuck this up, right? It is impossible for us to lose this." And it feels like playing against Wolves right now. It's that scenario where you really have to really shit the bed and shoot yourself in the foot to drop points against these guys.
Yeah, and Crystal Palace have the worst record. They've got the worst Crucible coming up, right? They have to play 14 games in a 46-day period between all their competitions. And so for them, points, right? They have 5 draws already this season, and they too draw a lot as a club. They have a reputation for earning draws. And this is one of those where a draw cannot happen. They need a win. They need 3 points in order to maintain themselves through this very, very tough period of time that they've got coming up.
Yeah, it's true. But you'd expect there should be Oliver Glasner has done a fantastic.
We expect to see. The biggest problem with Crystal Palace is that when it comes to rotation, they do not have the same depth that other teams do. They have good players on the bench. Don't get me wrong. And it's not as if they're lacking, but wow. I mean, you're talking about reliance on 19-year-old center backs. You're talking about, about a lot of untested, untried, untempered players that you're suddenly going to be putting a lot of pressure on. Sure, it can make diamonds, but it can also, melt you. So let's just hope
Crucible.
They get on the right 14, side.
Yes,
lots of metaphors coming in the next few weeks, ladies and gentlemen, about heat and this, that, and the other thing. So get used to it.
It's also worth noting, just looking at the league as well, Crystal Palace have the 3rd best defense in the league, right? They only conceded 9 goals this season as well, which has been really impressive. Just it seems like their biggest problem, and while they've only lost 2, they're drawing too many games, right? They're drawing too many games.
Yep. Right. It's not even scoring. They just draw too many games.
Well, if they scored a few more, they wouldn't draw as many, and that would certainly
help.
But,
but I mean, listen, statistically across the board, Crystal Palace look very good. It's just the one area where they're lacking is in that wins column, and so you can analyze that all you want, but that's just the truth. So
that's true. Yeah. Speaking of analyzing and wins, Newcastle against City.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think this is much of a contest, Gary. I'll be honest with you.
I agree. Like, what has happened to Newcastle? We put it down at the beginning of the season. Oh, it's just a slow start. They'll get up and running as well. But we're coming up for sort of nearly a third of the way through the season now, and they're sitting in 14th. And they've conceding too many goals, not scoring enough. I know, of course, they've lost Isak, which obviously is not. Keep talking about it, but move on. But
No. Again, everybody keeps mentioning this, and it's not true. Voltemata has actually been a perfectly good replacement.
He is. Well, they still haven't scored enough goals. It's fair to say they've only scored 11 and conceded 14. So the team, it's not on him. That's not on him. It's a collective. Anthony Gordon needs to be stepping up. Barnes needs to be stepping up. Agreed. But it's concerning. And again, are they juggling this, Champions League sort of matches as well as these weekend matches? But
that's what I think is killing them. That they have had the inability to rotate effectively. And the players aren't meshing the way that they want to. And I do think that Eddie Howe has a little bit of blame here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That he's just not really managing everything, quite appropriately.
Well, what is interesting, if you just go over and look at the Champions League table, they are in 6th place. They've won 3, they've scored 10 and conceded 2. So the form in the Europe is
better. Yeah. They're doing better in the
Yeah.
Champions League than they are in their domestic league. So.
Yes. Now you could argue again they've probably played against lesser competition, which is fine, but still they're scoring and they're winning. So, but they're just not doing it. And against Manchester City, now we've been I particularly have been a massive admirer of Erling Haaland and how just absolutely fantastic he has been. He is the best player in the league right now by far. He is on form. And my concern always with Man City was if he gets injured, suspended, or is unavailable for whatever reason, they're going to have problems. However, Doku all of a sudden is looking very, very good, and I don't know if you saw some of the Belgium gives the highlights. Doku is,
he was magic. Yeah. He was spectacular in those. Here's the thing: Erling Haaland has scored 4 more goals than the entire Newcastle team. Okay, and that's a bad sign. I can't sugarcoat this. City will win. They must win. Pep knows it. Howe knows it. Everybody knows it. And the question is, can Newcastle do anything to stop them? I don't think so. All right. I don't think so. I mean, in addition to scoring a lot of goals, Manchester City also have the 2nd best defensive record, right, in the league. So they can handle players like Voltemata. Right. They can handle pretty much anything that Newcastle is going to throw at them. And even if they concede, they're just going to shrug their shoulders and they're just going to turn and they're going to go over to their little Holland controller that they have on the sidelines. Somebody's got an implant in that guy and they're like, just ratchet him up a notch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they'll be fine. No.
Yeah.
I don't even think we need to spend any more time on this one. We can move right on. It's a done deal.
This
one is as much of a done deal as any fixture is on this weekend. This one is probably the slam dunkingest of the slam dunks.
That's a bold call there from Qooligan.
Absolutely, 100%.
You know what? The sort of the sentiment and the sort of the state data and obviously the statistics and everything would indicate that Man City also, although being away, would be win. I have a feeling there could just be a little bit of an upset here and it's like a score draw or something like that, where there could be like a last minute sort of equalizer from Newcastle or something like that and sort of hopefully jumpstart and kick their season. But again, as you say, going into this crucible period, if they carry on performing like they are in the league, I don't want to say relegation territory, but they're only 2 points off 18th place, right? They're only 2 points off the relegation zone. I'm not saying they're going to get relegated. I don't think that is the case. But you could come out of this in trouble. So hopefully Eddie Howe can turn that around. Leeds against Villa, meh. That's a sort of like, Villa are sort of, moving up the table a little bit.
No,
but whereas Villa, Villa have done. You've got North London Derby. Arsenal
now this one we do need to spend a little time on. The North London Derby, always fun. Always fun.
Yeah.
And they gave it the primetime spot, right? They gave it primetime Sunday.
Yeah.
It is, And unlike other North London derbies in the past, where it's always a spicy fixture, it's always good, both teams are always going to show up. Actually, you now have 2 teams that it really means something. Arsenal sitting in 1st, Tottenham's in 4th. I mean, this one matters because if Arsenal stumbles now, the vultures will circle. Everybody will suddenly start talking about, oh my God, here we go.
Choking. Here they go.
Arsenal's choking again, blah, blah, blah. Excuse me, Tottenham's in 5th. That was my bad. But it doesn't matter.
You didn't hear me. I don't know if I cut out. I did try and correct you, but you were on one of your rants. And
perfectly
I can't get through on the rants.
I was ranting. You know better than to try and interrupt me on that. So, and I always acknowledge my own mistakes. So Tottenham is in 5th place. But still, this is a great one. This is an absolute banger.
At the risk of triggering you, Qooligan, I'm going to bring up something that I brought up last time and you absolutely threw it out of the window and refused to accept it. Away form versus home form. Spurs have the best record on the road in the league and they've only conceded 3 goals and scored 12. They have not lost away from home. Home is a different story. You don't want to play at White Hart Lane. If you're Spurs, you don't want to play at White Hart Lane. They actually
you're absolutely right.
The leagues, right? So
this is one of the narratives that's playing. You're correct.
this is their chance. So the problem you're going to have is like just getting past that, absolutely tight defense. I mean, that defense is as tight as, well, something that shouldn't be very loose, because I mean they've only conceded 5 goals this season in the league. That is
in 11 games.
Incredible defense.
That's a shockingly good. That's a shockingly good defensive record.
And
yes.
if you don't concede goals, you don't lose games. And okay, it's okay to draw for you. They've only lost 1 game this season. So Arsenal definitely are the team to beat. If Tottenham are going to play them now, is probably the time with their away form, and sort of we'll see again. Hopefully, I saw one injury, one of the Arsenal players. I think one of their defenders got injured during the international break quite badly. I cannot recall right now which one. So I don't know if
that one. Okay.
Yeah,
that could be a factor, but still,
that could be.
I think Arsenal, they've got the squad, they've got the depth, they've got the home, and
they've got the form, the momentum,
and they haven't lost at home either. So it's like you've got all these things coming in. All it does is just make for one outstanding game.
Well, you'd hope so, right? But the reason why I'm not so excited for this is I can just see this being a tight 0-0, and then someone snatching a sort of 85th minute winner and sort of keeping it.
As long as it's a good 0-0, though, I don't care. Just don't play boring, and neither of these teams really play boring. Spurs, I will concede, have the potential to really not play well, but Arsenal's usually always. They've been delivering this season, so
they've been entertaining. And Spurs under Thomas Frank, completely different team from the now relieved of his duties Ange Postecoglou. But Postecoglou ball, it's turned out that was not the right approach or strategy.
They're a different team. I'd say that they're even a better team, but they're not the most consistent team.
This is true. Speaking of consistent, let's go to the final game of the match week. Man U are hosting Everton. Now, if you will recall, I said at the beginning of the season that Man U are at risk of potentially being relegated. That's not the case anymore. I stand corrected on that one. But
that didn't age well.
Again, that was the Schadenfreude coming. I was trying to will that one into existence, but that didn't happen. Man U in 7th place. They've haven't lost in 5. They've won 3, drawn 2 in the last 5 games. All of a sudden looking like a real team, and all of a sudden a threat again. Amorim is looking like a genius in his 12th month there. I believe he's been there as well. So against Everton, who are kind of a little bit sloppy and inconsistent, to be honest. They either win well or lose badly. So any thoughts here, Qooligan? Do you think Amorim's sort of now got the confidence of the players and off to the traces he goes?
I mean, if I was to pick a team, I would have to go with Man U on this one, because 1, they're at home. 2, they've got the strong wind in their back, right? They've had the best run of form in the last handful of games, far better than Everton. Everton's been topsy-turvy, right? They've had incredible moments, and they've shown some great resilience and steel, but they haven't. Again, it comes down to goals, right? They're just not scoring enough, and Manchester United are doing a fairly effective job of scoring. They're just not doing as good of a job of defending. So I kind of like the open-endedness of this game. I like how it really could go either way, depending on so many different factors, right? I don't know. But I'd say that it favors United, and they should come out with the win. But as we know, it's United, so right. They're the old narrative of don't worry, if you're tied at the end, United will win. That's not always the case.
Those days are over.
Those days are over, right?
Well, not over, but Amorim's just not filling you with the confidence that that's sort of the type of United. Fergie
time has been retired.
That's
right. They're no longer paying his salary, and so it's now you're now with what is known as affectionately as the Amorim uncomfortable, right? Or the discomfort of Amorim. There's got to be a better word for it. I just can't find it off the top of my head. So apologies.
Yeah, so I think Man United should have this one, but again, like Everton with Jack Grealish as well, they can be dangerous, and again, depends what type of Everton you see and you show up as well. So we'll see what happens.
Grealish has been very quiet though the last 5 games.
This is true.
He came out real fast, made a big splash, but he's been real quiet.
Yeah.
Maybe he shows up again because it's United.
Indeed, maybe.
Right.
Wonderful. Well, Qooligan, that takes us through the Premier League match week. We will be back next week when we have our Champions League episode coming up, and then obviously we'll be back again. So it's great to be back. No international breaks until March. I can't say it enough. I'm so happy with it. It's exciting. And the Crucible period is upon us. So here we go. Let it begin. All right.
Times. Good
Until
times.
then, next time, Qooligan. Thank you.